What's going on, guys? Welcome to another one of BlackIron's battles. Today we've got a super cool Total War Warhammer 2 Rise of the Tomb Kings special event for you. We've got round 2 of the best of 5 against ProfPwn that went up on Turin's stream, and we'll go ahead and pause it and let's show you guys what we've got here. So I know the last one was probably a little bit wordy, so this one we're going to kind of keep straight right to the point. We got a lot of games to show here, and I want to make sure you guys get to see them all in reasonable fashion. So if you take a look here, what we have brought this time, we are using the Dawi forces and we are up against the Skaven. So we have brought Belegar Ironhammer. He's ready to kill some rats, and you can see here he's got his charge defense against all, and I have brought the Mighty Oath Stone, which will give expert charge defense to everyone when I use it. Revenge Incarnate, we've got tons and tons of damage there that he's able to do. We've got the Hammer of Angrid, which is gonna, if he has good leadership, he'll just give him tons of extra melee attacks. So you can see here he's almost at 70 melee attack. He's ready to do battle. 120 armor with a silver shield, so he is and that charge defense will help against Doomwheels or anything like that. Here in the front, you can see we have got some Quarrelers with great weapons, and I thought that would be fun to bring. The Quarrelers should be plenty of damage to go against his Skaven ranged units, and then the great weapons should protect them against Doomwheels or Rat Ogres, anything like that that are coming in the back. We do have our Thane over here, and he's got his Master Rune of Stromny. He's also got the Tormentor Sword. You can see him over here, and he's ready for action. All right. So those are my lords. You can see here in the back we have got one cannon. We've also got these two groups of slayers in the back. No dragonback slayers this time, just some regular slayers. And that's just how they go. We don't always need dragonbacks. Sometimes you need to give the lesser slayers a chance. Over here on each flank, we do have two groups of miners with blasting charges, and in the middle we've got the warriors of Dragonfire Pass, as well as two longbeards, and in the back, two groups of iron breakers. So my goal here, the two iron breakers are going to just last as long as they can. They're blasting charges along with the blasting charges from all of these miners. That's four. The miners have like, I think 2 sets or something, maybe 1 set. But these guys have a good couple of sets. So the iron breakers should be able to throw a lot of explosions, a lot of light armored troops over on the Skaven. But as you guys can see, he does have some evil anti-dwarf geometry going on here. And let's see what ProfPwn has. So first off, you can see here he does have some Plague Claw Catapults, and the one thing about Plague Claw Catapults against the dwarves is they do have magic damage. Although, their missile damage is pretty high, they're pretty inaccurate. But, it is just one way to punish the dwarves is to have a ton of catapults like that spread out. Make them choose if they're going to spread their army or what they're going to do. You can see here 3 Plague Claw Catapults. He's also got a bunch of Rat Ogres. You can see 2 groups of Rat Ogres there and a third one over on the left for their armor-piercing action. When they have Frenzy, they're actually pretty strong. Now, if they lose that leadership, they do lose their combat stats, and they're a lot weaker at that point. Over here on the right, you can see there is a Doomwheel. Let's go check that out. We can see here there's a nice Doomwheel in there with those tiny rats running inside of it. I just love that Doomwheel. That is one of my favorite units. Just the way it looks in the game is just so awesome to me. And what else do we got here? So ProfPwn has pretty much a big, heavy army. You can see here it's led by Lord Skrolk himself. You can see him in here with scurrying with the book on his back. He's ready for some action. He does have both of his abilities. Of course, the Liber Bubonicus and the Rod of Corruption. He's got Stand Your Ground. He's got Vermintide. Let's see, Blessed with Filth. So he is ready. That Aura of Pestilence will remove melee attack in a pretty good sized circle around him. So he is ready for some action. We've also got an assassin there with trophy heads. We do have right in the front just some Skaven slaves, which I'm sure are meant to soak up any accidental fire on my part. And then we've also got 4 groups of plague monks. So the plague monks and the rat ogres should be doing the majority of the damage along with the artillery. And that should be it. Those Skaven slaves hopefully can soak up some damage for him, but he does have a lot of expensive units. So let's go ahead and get this battle started. And you can see right off the bat that for some reason we start moving that cannon up. We're just going to want to move it up, and we're going to want to start shooting at this Plague Claw Catapult. So you can see the Plague Claw Catapults themselves are also going to start taking some shots. You can see here there's some cannonballs coming right in. They're going to land right past us and just completely miss. Look at that. But the next one, boom, sends some rats flying. There's some counter fire coming in here from those plague claw catapults, and it is landing. You see, it's actually done some pretty good damage right there in the front of those corridors, as well as these miners. So I know I've just got to do something. So I'm going to just start moving up right towards the middle. That's where the main group of his army is, while I keep aiming my cannon at these plague claw catapults and trying to take it out. But you know, I don't know. I don't know if it's really worth it at this point. I mean, you can see here we're taking a ton of shots, but my cannon's really not doing as much damage to it as we would like. At the same time, we do want to keep moving. We are going to start taking some shots up here with the front. You can see that, oh man, there another just big hit from that plague claw catapult. But at the same time, we are going to start shooting in with the quarrelers. If we can shoot at those plague monks with the quarrelers, that'll be great, because the plague monks, as you can see, they only have 10 armor, so they'll take a ton of damage from these quarrelers. At the same time, we're taking heavy fire. I mean, look at just the sheer plague claw catapult action coming in here. At the same time, boom goes the dynamite. Those rat ogres going to charge right into these miners with blasting charges. And the miners being so cheap and having armor piercing, they'll actually, you know, only 30 armor on the rat ogres, so we should do okay. Same time, here in the back, you can see the cannons are taking heavy shots from the plague claw catapults while only returning like minimal fire. So there's just a lot going on right now. The plague claw catapults have me stretched out. Over here on the left, these miners with blasting charges are getting knocked down, but they're not going to go out. Same thing over here on the right. We're just going to use those miners to kind of hold up these rat ogres. And here in the front lines, we're actually still doing okay. We'll probably kill off... actually, hold on, let's go ahead and show we killed off the slaves pretty quickly, but over here you can see the doom wheel is trapped. We actually managed to get it hit trapped with a couple of slayers on it. We managed to get that thane to get the tormentor sword, and it was just nasty. We did get a good amount of damage on it, and he's going to have to just keep moving it around back and forth, trying to do whatever he can to keep it from getting... Oh man, you see Belegar was not set. So if he was set, he would have been able to stop that doom wheel, but at the same time, the doom wheel is in there, it's surrounded, and it's getting engaged. Over on each flank, you can see here that the miners, the blasting charges, are surprisingly still doing okay. And we are going to start taking some shots in there at those rat ogres. So these quarrelers will kill those rat ogres really easily. So those rat ogres are going to start getting away immediately. Those iron breakers as well are coming over to the flanks, and they're just starting to try to help out. You can see here we did get a group of slayers in here on top of those rat ogres, and that's going to chase those rat ogres off. They're also going to pick up these Skaven slaves, no problem. Those Skaven slaves, one will go down with every swing of an axe from a true slayer. And over here on the left flank, we're actually starting to get these quarrelers engaged as well. If you take a look here from the top, you can see there is a lot going on. We're trying to get these miners back from a rout. We're still getting hit on all sides from that plague claw catapult. Our cannon is down pretty heavily. And here on the left, we do have these rat ogres still fighting against those miners with blasting charges. At the same time, we are starting to toss a few more of those blasting charges in here from those iron breakers, and that should do some pretty good damage to those rat ogres as well. Here in the main line, we've almost got engaged, but this entire time we've been firing with these quarrelers. You can see here that some good damage has been done. This group of plague monks is actually almost down to half health now before it even engages, and at the same time there's some clan rats summoned there in the back line. Over here on the right, you can see that we have gotten these slayers almost all the way over, so they're going to get here finally. We'll zoom in here, we'll get a good view. That is a bunch of slayers coming in here to attack a plague claw catapult. There in the far background, you can see that the other group is still firing, and that is the most important to me. I'm just going to get those things taken down finally. You can see we do have a group of miners on a mission over there. They're probably just finished tossing their blasting charges. These iron breakers against these rat ogres, the iron breakers will be okay. The rat ogres do have armor piercing, but at the same time the iron breaker should be able to cut them down just with overwhelming forces. Here in the middle, you can see there is a huge group there of rats and rat ogres, plague monks, everything all grouped up together. We've got Lord Skrolk in the back, but we are still holding strong. The Dawi are resolute. You can see here there's our quarrelers in the back that are getting good fire off. You can see here these iron breakers are starting to scoot up, and the front lines there are starting to toss their satchel charges right into that big group of Skaven there. You can see them on fire. You can see the warriors are dragging back past. fighting in here with a group of Slayers. And then here comes Belegar Ironhammer running right into the back, and he is going to do some major damage. We've got Revenge Incarnate activated, and we're going to see if we can get him in here, and he is going to fight on Lord Skrolk. So you can see all around that these front lines are still engaged. The Longbeards are engaged. These Quarrelers are engaged. Everyone is kind of engaged right up here. But these guys are, my Longbeards and my Slayers are starting to go down. We're going to have to get these Ironbreakers up in there once they finish firing off the last of their ammunition. You can see the Belegar was starting to take a few hits, so we wanted to pull him out immediately. In the back, these Slayers have finally finished off the everything they could. And we want to get them back into this fight now. So they've been out too long. The balance of power is actually a little bit in my favor, but you can see Belegar is almost dead. Lord Skrolk's doing fine. Those Plague Claws are still firing in. Belegar, I think, actually fought this this assassin in the back here, but it is just going ham. This is just a wild and crazy adventure. You can see now that we've charged the Slayers there into the back. We've still got explosions coming in from that group of Ironbreakers, and at the same time, they're getting smacked down by that Plague Claw Catapult. I mean, you saw just one or two shots. These clan rats were summoned. They're gonna rout off the Ironbreakers there. But over here on the left, we still have a second group of Ironbreakers, which is still close to full health. And in the middle here, we're actually starting to wreck these Plague Monks. So you can see here, these Rat Ogres, they all got hit with the Plague Monk. Everyone got hit with the Tormentor Sword from the Thane there. And we're going to get in the back here, and we are going to try to kill this Assassin. You can see there, the Assassin came in. Oh, look at the Thane just raising his arms in triumph over the dead corpse of the Assassin. Here, Lord Skrolk is still alive, but it is getting risky, folks. I mean, for both of us, actually, both of our heroes are pretty low in health. If Belegar Ironhammer, they're taking hits from the Rod of Corruption, taking hits from the Liber Buonicus. You see, he's down to 300, 200 health, and he is still battling against Lord Skrolk. Lord Skrolk, oh! And down goes Belegar Ironhammer. I don't know if it was Lord Skrolk or if it was a hit from that newly firing Plague Claw Catapult over here, but Belegar is down. The balance of power is back towards the middle, and this is just a crazy adventure. Let's go ahead and slow this down just for 1 second so we can show you where we're at. Over here on the left, we do have these awesome Ironbreakers. They're still at full health, and a lot of these units from Pwn are starting to rout away. You can see that these Rat Ogres are pretty much dead. Almost all of these units off here are routed, and here we do have this group of Catapult is also going to die. These Slayers in here will have no problem taking that Catapult out, but there is a fresh group of Plague Monks over here, which is going to start coming in to the main battle. Over here on the right, you can see that we do have a second Plague Claw Catapult. It's almost out of ammunition. Here in the back, we've got some Rat Ogres that are returning, but the Ironbreakers are running off. And you can see as the Dawi, we're down to 200 troops. So we do have a bunch of Slayers, which will fight to the end. We do have this Thane, but we're running low on adventurous Dawi. Here in the middle, you can see just amidst the pile of corpses that there's a few of those Rat Ogres. You see that Thane just smack that Rat Ogre down. Oh, but in comes the Doomwheel and just mashing through dwarves. Oh man, that is crazy. That is so much damage. You can see the Thane picking himself, dusting himself off, but at the same time, these Slayers have gotten in here and they've finished off this group of Plague Monks. They've finished off this group of Rat Ogres, which are both broken off. And this Thane, oh, Doomwheel just smacking the Thane around. You can see the Plague Monks. You can see a lot of those Skaven forces running away. At the same time, the Thane will come back, and when he does, he's ready for action. We've also got some Slayers, which are doing some good damage here. With their good anti-large bonus, they'll be able to do good damage to his Doomwheel. You can see we've also used the Tormentor Sword, so he's trapped in place. He can't move. He can get some hits off on those Slayers, which you see him knocking down the Thane again. But we're just going to try to do as much damage to that Doomwheel as we can. As soon as we can take that thing off, I'm going to feel a lot better about this game. Over here on the left flank, you can see we've got that group of Ironbreakers and that group of Slayers. Just finish off the Plague Monks that we saw over there. And while we do have this Catapult back on session, I'm not sure if it's going to be able to do what it needs to do. That is two healthy groups of dwarfs over here. So you can see here the Doomwheel is going to come on in. We're going to have the Slayers charging in there. The Doomwheel is going to smash, and it is going to get stuck. It is stuck right inside of those Ironbreakers. You see it's surrounded down to 600 health, and it is dropping quick. So if they can, we have broken off that Doomwheel. and that is crazy. Here in the back, you can see some of those slaves are routing off to rat ogres and plague monks, but it is coming down to the wire, man. This second match of this best of 5 series is just crazy close. You can see here that the Ironbreakers are still fighting it out. We got the Slayers coming in here to pancake this group of clan rats that just got summoned, and that group of clan rats will die heavily if they're surrounded like that. At the same time, the Plague Claw Catapult all the way gone. Lord Skrolk in here giving standard ground, so just giving huge amounts of melee defense and leadership to those, to all of those troops in a surrounding area around him. And these Ironbreakers are actually gumming down. It is getting so close to being right now. It's actually a little bit in Professor Pone's favor. I do not want to go down 2-0, guys. I'm trying my best to get in this fight here. Let's get some cinematic shots for you. You see here just Slayers just fighting it out to the very end. Blood-covered Ironbreakers. That Doomwheel comes right in the back here, and the Rod of Corruption is used again. At the same time here, the Doomwheel is actually down to 188 health. We've actually trained all of our units to hop right on top of it, 169, and it is broken again. And this goes back to dead even. You see here there's a few rat ogres that are coming back into the battle. Most of the other units are routing off. Lord Skrolk is here in the middle, surrounded by so many Slayers. There's just so many Slayers. We've got that Thane in there battling it out till the very end. And it is actually enough to break Lord Skrolk. So Lord Skrolk just broken. It is now almost swung to my favor. I mean, this is pretty good. You see here we have some of those rat ogres that are going to charge in. They're going to be taking hits at some dwarves. But at the same time, we've got our Thane walk up in there. And you can see when he swings his axe through this round, it actually matters. The Ironbreakers are in here. That Thane is going to be cutting people down. And that is pretty much it. You can see just the huge piles of corpses. I mean, we lost pretty much every dwarf almost. We're down to like, I think one group of Slayers over here. We've got the Thane and another group of and a group of Ironbreakers, and that was that. I mean, it was such a close battle. And round 2 goes to BlackIron. So now the best of 5 series is 1-1. I've taken Professor Pone. If you guys didn't see the first game, check that one out. It is also awesome, but I wouldn't say it's as awesome for me as this one. That one was real quick. I was kind of warming up, but this one we were in the mode and we were ready for action. You can see that the cannon didn't really do what we had hoped it would. I'd really hoped it was going to take out one of those Plague Claw Catapults, but it did not do me the justice. Maybe if I had had a couple of chevrons in it, it would have been a little more accurate and been able to do it. I don't know. Same time, these Quarrelers were able to get good damage on the Plague Monks, the Rat Ogres, and it was actually their great weapons, which helped me out a lot. Anytime they were engaged, they were just fought it out. They held it. They held their side of the line, and they did really well against the these lightly armored Plague Monks and Rat Ogres. Just a whole lightly armored army over here pretty much. Also, you saw those Ironbreakers. One group was actually taken down pretty heavily, separated and killed, but the second group was able to hold on till the very end, along with one of these groups of Slayers. The Slayers were the true champions here. 150 kills each. One group was, I mean, they were taking out Plague Claw Catapults. Some of the miners actually took out a Plague Claw Catapult. You saw their Belegar just holding it in, taking that damage, just tanking it out, being a boss, but it was really just on the Longbeards and the Slayers who really held the day, and the strength of those Ironbreakers and their armor. The Thane himself was able to kill Lord Skrolk, was able to kill an assassin. Those Thanes are just, proving themselves so useful in pretty much every match. Over here, you can see that right off the bat, the Belegar fought that assassin, and Belegar won. So the assassin really didn't get many kills, neither did Belegar. Lord Skrolk did pretty well, 53. He was able to get some good damage going, and those summons are where he really shines. I mean, the fact that we knocked this much health off of Lord Skrolk means we were spending a lot of effort attacking him. You can see there the Skaven slaves, they soak some damage. I'm not sure if putting chevrons on him is a good idea. I typically will only put it on units that aren't slaves. But, they did soak their damage, but at the same time, so much light armor. He wasn't able to, with the innate magic resist of the dwarves, plus, he did get 100 kills on this Plague Claw, but these magical catapults were not as effective as they would have been against some of the other races. You also saw we kept using the Tormentor Sword to kind of lock down that Doom Wheel. You know, hopefully we were able to catch it with the Thane. We were able to do good damage to it a couple different times, surround it with Iron Breakers, catch it with Slayers. The Slayers with their anti-large were just a great help. We were able to kill Rat Ogres. We were able to kill, I mean, it was great. His Rat Ogres did get 87 kills. You saw I took 713 losses. So I took a lot more losses than him. If I didn't have that healthy Thane or the constitution of the Dwarves, I probably would have been routed off. But either way, it was a great second game. I want to thank you guys all so much for watching. You're going to have to check out, keep checking out my channel for more games coming up soon. We've got the rest of this Best of 5 series. We've got the semifinals of the Shadows Online Gaming. We've got Stunty League. We've got Wild Hogs. We've got all sorts of stuff coming up, guys. So, you know, go ahead and just keep an eye tuned. Click subscribe below if you haven't for more great online content. Hit the bell or the buzzer, whatever. You know, toss me a comment. You know, whatever you want to do. Just have some fun, guys. Take it easy. This is BlackIron, and this has been another one of BlackIron's Battles.